Welcome to Aviva Live. So, I did it again. I went down to the Capitol. And what inspired me to go today is the Sierra Club told me about this environmental lobby day. So, that's pretty exciting to learn about the bills that are good for our environment, and I'll cover that in a second. So I figured it'd be a good day to go and talk about hemp for phytoremediation and cleaning the coal ash ponds and helping with climate change and using it for locally processed biomass agrofuel. Okay? It just became legal. Anything's possible, right? Mixed emotions here. So I go in and I just realized this at the end of the day. I'm like
Dressed.
a freaking hemp stalk. See, I've got this green on and I might as well just be like growing in a field. But anyway, and I was wearing brown boots, so it was like, roots. So that made me happy. And it also happened to be the agricultural committee's meeting every Wednesday. So 8 a.m. was my goal. I got there at around 5 after 8 because I got in trouble for bringing in my ukulele. Instruments are not allowed. Some reason, last Tuesday I was able to squeeze it in. So anyway, I get into the room and I was excited to see that it was standing room only. I guess a lot of people are interested in talking about hemp, and they were talking about that when I walked in and revising HB213. And I walk in and I see Gary Black. I've been wanting to talk to him forever because he is the Commissioner of Agriculture. This is a big deal for him. I want to really connect with him and find out his feelings about everything. So I listened to the meeting, and also I meet the lobbyist, Wesley, as soon as I walk in as well, who has some clients who he's working for to write some hemp legislation, apparently. So that helps activists like me to be around someone who knows about writing laws, right? It's a very good thing. So anyway, I'm just going to tell you about my day like you're my friend, and I'm just like, this is what happened, because lobbying, it's like freaking gymnastics, or, well, I'm not really lobbying, but what I'm doing, talking to our legislators is like a game of tag. It is kind of fun, but it's also frustrating because it can get competitive, right? As far as am I actually going to say tag, you're it, or am I going to just be stuck out of bounds? I don't know. Anyway, so I listened to them talking about the bill, and someone even had questions and they were confused about, they mixed up the low THC hemp bill and the industrial hemp bill, which has been happening for a while. People aren't educated on the difference, and I don't blame them because of how the legislation is presented also. So they addressed not understanding who pays the $100,000 fee. I didn't hear anyone talk about lowering the fee, which I did hear about Tuesday. I didn't hear anyone talk about changing it from 3 processors to unlimited amount of processors, which I heard they did talk about in the meeting. Now, maybe we'll see a change of the bill tomorrow. I didn't see one today. Fingers crossed. But it adjourned kind of quickly, and then Wesley left the room, and I was still curious just to find out, what else the Agricultural Committee is talking about, because I'm interested in more than just hemp. And then Gary started to leave, and then I was like, oh, let me talk to Gary. I've got these samples of products with me. He might not know about them, right? So Wesley at first was talking to Gary, so I didn't want to interrupt. And then I did. And I introduced myself, and I said, I really want to talk to you about all these different hemp products that I feel are excluded from the bill, because the bill seems more geared towards a medical cannabis grow that is exclusive and pretty much makes Georgia not a player in the hemp industry because it's so restricted. So we talked a little bit, and he never saw hemp seeds before. I showed him the food. I said, listen, I eat like a pound of these a month, if not more. And the way the bill is written, I have to get it from Canada. I have to get it from Tennessee, and I want to grow it in my own garden. You know, I don't want the plastic BPA benzene packaging. Like, I want all natural, and I deserve that. And that was legal. And so, why can't I grow it? It doesn't make any sense. And he was like, yeah, that's a good point. And I showed him the hemp herd and the fiber, and he's like, oh, wow. You know, thank you so much for educating everyone about this. Just keep doing what you're doing. I was like, okay. But what about you? You know, what are you doing? And so, anyway, maybe I made a dent. I have no idea. Maybe it's hard for me not to believe that they don't already know these things, but there's so many things all of us know that other people don't know. So he might never have tried hemp foods. Or maybe he knows about it and he sees it as a threat, as a cross-pollinator to the CBD flowers and whatever else they apparently want to produce and sell here in Georgia. But to who? I don't know. This is all a mystery to me. Another update is I did speak to an ag extracts rep, which some people are saying, oh, well, they hired lobbyists, they donated to their campaign. They're the ones that are wanting to monopolize. And it's not true. I spoke to someone who even said that they would do a video with me this weekend. And so you can catch the feeling, you can catch the vibe. You know, I'm not telling you what to think. We all have our own feelings about what's going on here. And it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about let's figure this out together. You know, we're all peas in the pod. We're all part of this puzzle, which is what my Sunday song is about this week. But anyway, I haven't even had time to edit it because of all this hemp activism, which I love doing because it feels like the right thing to do. So anyway, where was I? I spoke to Gary. Yay! I'm so excited. I've been trying to talk to him for 3 years. So all you have to do is show up to an ag committee meeting, which I didn't even know when they were. But thankfully, Jimmy Pruitt contacted me and wanted to continue talking because we were rushed last Tuesday. And so I got to talk to his office and find out about the meeting that happens every Wednesday at 8, apparently. So I will probably go next Wednesday because it just feels like good energy for me to be there and just fill the room with my thoughts, right? Because thoughts become a reality. And I'm just going to say that is true. And I believe it. We make a difference. Every single one of us, every single one of you makes a difference. Sorry about the HVAC system going on and making noise. Hopefully it won't make a difference in this video. All right, so anyway, I'm wearing my hemp pants. I'm telling everyone when I remember, you know, this is the hemp fiber, this is the hemp food. You know, I didn't really have a chance to talk to Tom McCall again. Jimmy Pruitt really briefly showed him the hemp seeds again, and he actually said he doesn't remember seeing them. I thought I gave him samples of them. Then, who did I meet with? I talked to Wesley for a moment, and he said, you know, those were some good points about the fiber and not being included in this bill. He heard what I was saying to Gary Black, and he said he'd work on revisions and propose some drafting for that, as well as what I was also saying is I want to be able to grow it in my personal garden for food. And the resistance that I was told about was law enforcement. How are they're going to be like, how are we going to enforce that? Don't! Leave us alone, right? We're free. So anyway, I'm open to talking about that more. I know, you know, I'm open to going to see law enforcement. And anyway, so then I met with the young representative, Matt. I am blanking on his last name. I'm really sorry. Right now I'm rushing to this video so I could get to bed finally. It's been a long day of work. And hold on. I've got a list of representatives right here. Matt Gertler. There we go. 504D in the Coverdale building. He was leaving his office when I walked in, and I was like, elevator chat. And he was like, sure. So I got into the elevator with him. I think I skipped meeting with Carl Gilliard. I think I met with him first. It's been a long day. But let's just stick with Matt.
Now, why did Matt vote no to assist with hurricane relief? Well, it's actually not because he didn't support relief. It's because he wasn't sure about that $40 million slush fund and if it was really going to, like, where it was being allocated to. He just wasn't confident about that.
Matt does not like this bill. He's not a co-sponsor, but he's in the Ag Committee. Okay? He agrees that it's just not, I like how he described it. It's not a free market. It's not proposing a free market for Georgia, and it's posing all these restrictions. So, there you go. He also was pretty confident it's going to pass no matter what, so we got to change the language on this bill. Now, even if it passes the House in the next few days or next Wednesday, it's going to go into the Senate. So that gives us another opportunity to talk to the Senate committee that's voting to propose their changes. So keep that in mind. It is not over until it's over, right? Keep on visualizing what you want, you know? If you are upset about what's going on right now, that's fine. Just don't harp on it. You are world changers out there. You can call people. You can make a difference. I'm telling you. So, I met with Representative Gilliard, and he is just the sweetest guy. He's done a lot for the environment in Savannah. I just posted a video on my Facebook wall. He's against offshore drilling, you know, and there's also economic reasons for that. It's not just the environment. Yes, it's much better for the environment to not have the offshore drilling, but he also, you know, mentioned it would destroy the shrimp industry. It would destroy their tourism industry, which is all about the beautiful ocean. So I talked to him, and he didn't know about the hemp seeds, and he tried them, and he liked them, and I told him all about the nutrition, and I showed him the hemp herd samples, and he was like, where were you in HR 1473 and all the meetings we had? And I was like, the 3 or 4 meetings that were going on during when I teach classes like 3 and 4 hours away from here, or 2 hours away from here. I'm sorry. It's not very accessible for people like me who don't get paid to be in the study committee. I'm sorry. But here I am now. I'm showing you this hemp herd, I'm showing you the hemp seeds, and I'm showing you my energy and how much I care about it. And he said that he really appreciated that. And he agreed about minorities and small family farmers, given some kind of encouragement, some kind of a relief to grow hemp, and about the fiber being drafted in there. So he said to email him some ideas, which I started to do, and I just, you know, after I saw his video about offshore drilling, I'm like, I didn't even tell him about cannabis cars. I got to include that in the email, you know, locally processed biomass agri-fuel. It's not impossible, people. Power to the people. We can make it happen. Maybe not this year, but all these opportunities to plant seeds in these ears who already have our attention because they obviously care about hemp for whatever the reason they have. He did mention, you know, that the idea of the cross-pollination happening, and that lowering the medicinal cannabis and whatnot. And I was like, yeah, but I heard that all of that was going to be required to grow inside. So why would that happen? And so I'm just wondering if there's a crop growing here, a rich THC crop growing here somewhere that maybe someone knows about, even if not consciously, subconsciously, and that's the resistance to growing industrial hemp, because it'll lower the THC and detract from its economic value. It's just good to be open and honest and everything. And that's what I mentioned to Gary Black too. I was like, just in case, you know, you're concerned about this cross-pollination thing, let's just remember it's just requiring us as humans to communicate more. Let's communicate with our neighbor and find out if they're growing a fiber crop so that we don't plant, you know, within 10 miles of their field if we're growing CBD hemp, or we make sure that we build a greenhouse for it. You know, it just takes communication, not control. All right, so check. Spoke to Carl Gilliard. Check. Spoke to Matt Gertler. Did I say that right? Check. Spoke to Gary Black. Success, right? I mean, awesome. So now I am figuring out what's on the agenda for the Environmental Lobby Day. Okay? And there were a lot of sponsors to this. Georgia Water Coalition, Sierra Club, a few different garden clubs. So here's the deal. There's a Senate bill, 123, which is trying to stop Georgia from being a dumping ground for the coal ash, which I've been talking all of their ears off about. As far as we have this coal ash dumping issue, hemp can grow and help us and help to remediate this land. I'm just going to read you some of this. Coal ash contains dangerous heavy metals and carcinogens, okay, including arsenic and lead. Lead is definitely phytoremediated by hemp, which have been linked to lung and heart problems, stomach ailments, and premature death. Hello. Recent disasters spilled toxic coal ash into rivers and across people's land in the southeast. Electric utilities, so maybe the hurricane issue, electric utilities are moving millions of tons of this waste to lined landfills to get them out of old, leaky, unlined ponds along rivers. Cheap coal ash disposal rates have made Georgia a dumping ground for coal ash from around the southeast. Great, huh? Millions of tons of coal ash are already stored in Georgia landfills, creating a potential pollution problem for communities. Hello? That's just likely to get worse. Landfill surcharges are intended to help local governments offset costs inherent in hosting large regional landfills, including groundwater monitoring and cleanup when problems occur. As a result of legislative loophole, beginning in July, local governments can surcharge private landfill operators $2.50 for every ton of household garbage collected, but only $1 a ton for coal ash. Hello. Local governments are missing out on millions of dollars that could be used to ensure that local communities are not harmed from toxic coal ash. Currently, private landfills in Cherokee, Meriwether, Banks, Taylor, Chatham, and Charlton counties can accept coal ash waste. These landfills, are you living there? Are situated along streams and rivers and above vital groundwater sources that supply hundreds of thousands of Georgians with drinking water. Hello, can we make industrial hemp accessible to these people so they can grow it? Why not? You can't even get high from it. Oh, because it's a threat for cross-pollination? You've got to give us some rational response here. Sunflowers, we can use sunflowers. They're just not as hardy. You know, the roots of hemp, 6 feet sometimes. The cheap surcharge for coal ash incentives private landfill operators, incentivizes, I've never said that word, private landfill operators to take enormous amounts of out-of-state coal ash, which means that regular solid waste landfills can turn into toxic coal ash dumps for the Southeast. This Georgia legislature can address the problem by removing the loophole for the minimum surcharge. That's it. It's going to charge the regular thing. It's not even requiring phytoremediation, but it's a step in the right direction, okay? Please call your senators and get them to support SB 123 and visualize with me right now. Clean water for everyone. HR 164 passed the House today, and what that does is it holds people accountable for money, which is a good thing. It restores trust in the state's management of trust funds. Currently, we pay fees into trust funds like the solid waste and the hazardous waste trust funds to help clean up tire dumps and hazardous waste sites. But the legislator routinely loots those trust funds and spends the money elsewhere. The resolution will put a constitutional amendment on the ballot that gives the General Assembly the authority to require that the trust fund monies are used only for their intended purposes. It also provides flexibility in the event of a recession. Okay. So there is one more bill, I believe, that was talked about. I think I might have handed out, I might not have anything left because I handed it out to my senator and a couple of the hemp co-sponsors so that they understand my passion about the environment and how it's connected to industrial hemp. And on these pieces of paper, there was also a map of all the coal ash ponds, which is really great to look at and imagine hemp growing there. Okay? Okay, I've got two more. HB93 requires Georgia Power and other power generating utilities to notify local communities before the water from coal ash ponds is drained into our local rivers, lakes, and streams. Wouldn't that be nice? Communication is key. Community members want to know how coal ash is being handled and treated in their communities. I do. Absolutely. I doubt it would be inner city right now, but we've got our issues of our own. Might be. So it's sitting right now in the House Natural Resources and Environmental Committee. Let's find out when that meeting is. When's the next meeting? Let's go. HB 94 requires municipal solid waste landfills to notify local communities before accepting coal ash. Good. HB 94 also prohibits municipal solid waste landfills from storage coal ash in areas located in the 100-year floodplain. Thank you. Or too close to shallow groundwater aquifers. This bill also requires these landfills to perform more stringent groundwater monitoring for the pollutants found in coal ash. Thank you, Georgia Water Coalition. You are amazing. So it is in the same committee, the House Natural Resources and Environmental Committee. Let's find out who's in that committee. It's really fun to find these things out. So all I have to do is go to the Georgia Hemp Economic Revival Organization. We are committed to education and helping small farmers. And I can just go straight to the link to HB213, which is listed under my last video. So here I am looking at HB213, and I see all the co-sponsors' names across the top. So I'm just going to click on one of them. Let's see, John Corbett. He's in Agriculture and Consumer Affairs, obviously. And, oh wait, Natural Resources and Environment. He's a member of that too. Well, I'm certainly glad I left him this information today as well. Natural Resources and Environment. The chairman is Lynn Smith, so she's probably a really good person to talk to about this. She looks like a very sweet lady. We've got Vance Smith, Don Hogan, Timothy Barr, Deborah Bazemar, Debbie Buckner, Robert Dickey, who's also on the Agricultural Committee and a co-sponsor of the hemp. Very interesting. All these people can support coal ash ponds along with industrial hemp. We are onto something here. House Natural Resources and Environment Committee, okay? Tom McCall's on it too, and he's a co-sponsor too. Hello. Pat Gardner, I spoke to her last year about something. Terry England, Carla Drenner, Sherry Gilligan, Angelica Kausch. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. Greg Morris, Randy Nix, Richard H. Smith, Jan Tankersley, Kevin Tanner, Abel Mabel Thomas. That name sounds familiar. Was it a commercial? Okay, Sam Watson, Mary Frances Williams, and Noah Williams Jr. Okay? The House Natural Resources and Environment Committee is assigned legislation pertaining to management, quality, and usage of Georgia's natural resources. Within the full committee, there are two standing subcommittees, environmental quality and resource management. Legislation is assigned to these subcommittees based on the subject matter of each individual bill or resolution. The committee chairman is Representative Lynn Smith from Noonan, Georgia. All right, so let's find out when those meetings are. I think that's it for today, folks. That is my day at the Capitol. Just trying to think if there's anything else. It was a little shorter than last time because I had to run to teach some classes. And yeah, I circled back around to Carl Gilliard and gave him the information about these environmental coal ash bills as well. So, what else? What else? So, look for another video from me. I'm going to have a couple of different lawyers compare our bill to the bills happening in the other states. And we'll do a fun video on that. And we'll also interview some of these lobbyists who are supposedly wanting to monopolize the Georgia hemp industry. One other thing, I did go to Tennessee, so I'm excited about that. So I tried to meet with Brick from the Tennessee Department of Agriculture, who is working his butt off with his staff. He said that they have been working till 8 p.m. every night, I think for like 2 weeks. Friday was the last day they were registering hemp farmers. And he said they were lined out the door. I'm like, I want to get a video. And it was an hour away from where I was singing and staying. So I was like, I think maybe I'll pass this time, because he was like, well, I don't know if there's lines anymore, because it's the last day. They might all be doing it electronically. But he said there were lines out the door. I think that's exciting. And I want that to happen in Georgia. I want us all to be lined up. So anyway, he did say that there was a CBD farmer that got mad at a fiber farmer in Tennessee for pollinating his field. It happens. He said that, CBD is really where it's at monetarily. And I understand that. But we got to include the fiber and the food. Hemp is here to provide us with everything. It's not one-dimensional. 20,000 products, right? We got to all work together for this plant to give us what we all need. Have a blessed day, everyone. Have a beautiful day, whatever you are up to. I'm just like, did I miss anything? What else? Yes, I had to be escorted out of the Capitol with my ukulele, because I had to walk through the building with it to get to the other building. And I'm still getting shout outs when I'm walking around like, hey, you're the girl that played ukulele at the Wild Hog Supper, saying to us, all the law enforcement folks, all the security folks. It's all about relationships. Go there, get your face seen, smile. The love is appreciated so much, more than you know, okay? It was really hectic in there. There were a lot of advocates today. I could feel myself wanting to freak out when I stood at the ropes, to talk to my senator about HB213, and there were swarms of people, not fun. So these folks deal with that every single day. They just need love. They need some happiness, and we all deserve that. Till next time, stay posted. Call your legislators. Be heard. Speak your heart. You deserve love.
I did actually sing to Carl Gilliard a little bit. They did let me bring the ukulele in the Coverdale building. Yeah, I did. And it was cool. And he liked it.
HB213, growing hemps for you and me. We deserve to be in a market that is free. HB213 needs a lot of work, you see. We deserve to be growing hemp abundantly. Sing it with me.